Hi friends! In this video I want to talk about the concept of the void and how we work with it throughout the journey mapping process, especially to connect to the different tools and resources that we can only connect to inside of ourselves in order to really navigate the path ahead. I was first introduced to this concept of the void through a particular type of process work. That's actually the process work I did in order to really heal my PTSD. And I remember talking to my mentor at the time and talking to him about my ex-boyfriend who had just passed away, and how even though I'm very intuitive and I can read people really well, he was always just this fuzzy black hole to me. I could never quite read him. But when I shared that, my mentor said that that is because people who are depressed tend to sit right on the edge of the void. And in this particular type of process work, that's where I first learned about the void. So the way that it works in this process is that all of the quote-unquote negative emotions are at the top. They are above this void, this nothingness, this unknown zone. And generally what we do is we cycle through them. So maybe we're angry, or we're jealous, or we're fearful, or we're sad, or we're depressed, and we cycle through. And if you drop down through the layers of all of your top level emotions, eventually you will hit this unknown zone, this pocket of nothingness, this void. And the void is so terrifying to most people because it feels like it's going to consume you that they often sit right on the edge of it, or they never drop through, and they continue to cycle through all of those upper level emotions. The unknown zone feels terrifying. It is a moment of death and rebirth. It is a moment of moving through this nothingness, this spaciousness, this emptiness that is so unfamiliar to us that we hide away from it, we move away from it, we can't drop through it. But if you drop through the unknown zone, if you drop through the void, that is when you connect to those underlying emotions such as peace, joy, source, whatever that is for you, love, all of those things that we are so desperately seeking in our day-to-day life, including who is it that we are here to be, and what does that really feel like, and what does that really mean to us, and what is our purpose, what is our work in the world. All of that happens by dropping through the void. I remember when he first told me about this, my mind was blown because I loved this concept, and I remembered my first accidental experience with the void. I was 24 years old and had just moved to Hawaii with my then boyfriend, and we had gotten into a fight, and at the time I was so depressed, so lost, so broken. I felt like this numb shell nothingness of a person, and he went off to a party and I went and drove around the island, and the island is only so big, so I think I made a couple loops and found myself on the south end of the island. And I had been crying the whole time, but I was sobbing so hard at this point that I thought I might hyperventilate. So I pulled over at this rest stop, which is still one of my absolute favorite spots on the island, and I just sat in my car and I cried, and I was crying so hard until suddenly I just stopped. And not knowing about this concept of the void, I can look back and I can describe it as the moment that I accidentally slipped and fell through. Because it was almost like an out-of-body experience. I was still aware of myself in the car, sitting there on this overlook, this stop in Hawaii, but I was also feeling my soul, and it felt like my soul, everything that made me who I am, my very essence, was out amongst the stars. It was like I was one with the universe, and I was so calm and peaceful. And I had found everything that I had been fighting so hard to uncover. In that moment, I could feel it. I was experiencing it. And actually could feel it in my body, and it gave me this reference point of, oh, this is what it feels like to be the person that I am here to be, and to move through the world in the way that I am meant to move through the world. And this is what I'm meant to do next. I had a really clear understanding of what came next. I clung to that moment for as long as I could, and once it was over, once I was back consciously in my body, I calmly drove myself home, and everything changed after that moment. I had this clear sense of who I meant to be in the world and what needed to happen next, and it acted as this guidepost that carried me forward. And when I hit that guidepost, when I created in my actual reality, my actual day-to-day life, what I had experienced while dropping through the void, I had another moment. It was far less dramatic. It wasn't like an out-of-body experience. It was just this moment of slipping and falling through the void and connecting to what was next. And that gave me this point of reference to continue moving towards. Now, the reason that we work with this concept of the void in journey mapping is because it is the gateway. It is the gateway to everything that you are seeking. Some people move through it without even realizing that it's happening. It's very easy for them. It's second nature for me at this point. And others, it takes a lot of work of learning how to drop down through the layers and to access this pocket of nothingness, this unknown zone, this void, and navigating your way through it to what is on the other side. Now, it's not just about dropping into what's on the other side of it. It's about learning what you're there to uncover when you're in that experience of having moved through the void. There are very specific tools and resources that are unique to each of us. So what I uncover for me, even if you uncover the same thing, it's going to be different for you, and it's going to be based on who you are, who you're becoming, and the work that you are here to do. So understanding how to move through this gateway and access those specific tools and resources is so essential to the process. And while it doesn't necessarily make things easy, things will still be hard, there will still be challenges, you may still be fighting like hell to rise up and come back from whatever it is you've walked through, it makes it more graceful. It gives you a compass, it gives you that reference point, that guidepost to move towards, and allows you to make sense of things that didn't make sense before. My invitation to you on this video is to really start feeling into your emotions. Whatever they are, don't make them bad, don't make them wrong, don't tell a story about them, don't even make them right. They just are. They're just your present experience. It's just a particular energy moving throughout your body. And maybe it has a cause, but we'll put that to the side and just feel into whatever emotion you're experiencing right now, and see if you can feel so deeply and fully into it so that it opens into whatever is beneath it. And you can start practicing moving through those layers of your emotion and really learning how to feel into them and open into them to uncover whatever is there for you to uncover. The only way to access the void is to be willing to feel and feel into whatever your present experience is. There is no way around this. And learning how to do so is going to give you such powerful tools and this resource that nobody can teach you. Nobody can give you that inner wisdom, that inner resource that comes from doing this work. So just start by practicing. Feel your feelings, feel into them, allow them to open up, and see what's beneath them. It might be another layer of that same emotion, it might be something different, but just start exploring how it feels and see if you can drop down far enough to access this point of nothingness. And start kind of feeling into what is the void experience like for you, and what would happen if you felt even further into that? What can you find beneath it or through it? The void is where the magic happens. It's something that I'm really passionate about. It's a big part of the work that we do in journey mapping and a big part of my work in the world. So give it a try. Let me know how it feels to you, and I will be back with another video which is all about how do we reorient to our own life, work, and relationships in the aftermath of doing this deep work, this healing work, this growth work, and really rising up and coming back from the hard chapters. How do you reorient to your own life, to your own self in the aftermath? It's one of the more challenging aspects of the work, and I'm excited to share more about that soon. All right, I will catch you in the next video soon.